Hi, I'm Tommy Baker, Commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Veteran Services. The video you're about to watch is part of a series where we spotlight the incredible stories of our brave veterans right here in the volunteer state. We hope you enjoy this video, and thanks again to all who have served.
Two tours in Vietnam. You finally get to come back home, highly decorated, and then you spend the rest of your time. I think you processed out of Shaw Air Base in South Carolina in '79. No doubt could have went to work for Boeing or Lockheed or who probably Delta or anybody else if you'd wanted to, but you chose junior ROTC, and that interests me. I just wonder, with all those options you had at that time, why you chose that path and what that meant to you as you retired from your service in the Air Force.
Well, the one thing that happened to me that caused me to retire was Jimmy Carter was president. I had, coming out of Air War College, I had an assignment to go down to Brazil to be the chief U.S. Military Advisory Group down there. When Jimmy Carter got president, he canceled our, whatever we have with that country down there. So that disappeared. So I was a free agent at that point. And there was a general down at Shaw Air Force Base, General Hardinger, who was, he'd gone through about 6 or 7 officers to be chief of safety, and he wasn't satisfied with him. So he took me down there. And I worked for him for a couple of years down there, and I decided that it was time for me to do something different. So my ex-father-in-law had offered me to come down and work with him as a pilot, flying, crop dusting, everything, all kinds of flying. I flew over 1,000 hours in less than a year's time, flying with him, all kind of flying. And at that point, I realized that I needed to do something different from that, and that's when I started the junior ROTC business. I started 4 different units. I think I went to 8 units in all, different units, because I would go to a unit, I would, essentially what I would consider getting it ready to do what it should be doing, and then another one would call, okay, well, I need to go there, I need to go there. So that was what I just felt like that was my calling to do.
That's great. You know, we talked about this earlier, 25th most decorated military personnel in U.S. military history. You're on a list with icons like Douglas MacArthur, Audie Murphy. I mean, I know you move around and you don't talk about it much. You're very humble, but how do you resonate with that? I mean, just realizing that list that you're on.
I wouldn't have even known it because I went through my career, obviously, with that same amount of capability, or whatever you want to call it, and I didn't even know it was there until, I guess it's been about maybe 10 or 15 years after I retired. A guy wrote to me and he says, "Did you know that you've done so-and-so?" Oh, no, I didn't know that. So it didn't really ever make much of an effect on me. In fact, it never really has, because it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make any difference. I did my job. I was where I was supposed to be at the right time. And again, I keep saying it over and over again, but it's not me, it's what God used me to do. You don't make your own decision. God gives you that decision to make, and He helps you to do it if it's what He wants you to do. So it has not really affected me because I didn't do anything different. I wouldn't have done anything different. You don't do anything to win a medal. You get the medal because of something you've done.
You know, sir, you had a distinguished career, 23 years of service and 2 very successful tours in Vietnam. I was just a boy when the Vietnam veterans started coming home. And there's a lot of people in our country feels like that our country missed a great opportunity to properly thank that warrior generation for the brave and valiant service that they provided to us over there. If I could gather all those Vietnam veterans today together here, what would you say to them?
Well, I'd say just like I would say to the World War II veterans, I would say to them that you did your very best. When I was at Air War College, the first year we had a lot of Vietnam POWs in our classes. I stayed there for years as an instructor. Had a lot more POWs come in. And I keep telling these people that you did the best you could do. And under the circumstances that you had to survive in, there's no greater heroes in the world than you guys that took it for all those years as a POW and never give up. Never faulted the United States for not doing anything better. Always believed in God. They had church services. Even though they were in solitary confinement, they would have church services on every Sunday. And communicating with each other through cement walls by knocking on the walls. That kind of patriotism to our country, I think, is something we need to always remember. And I would tell those guys gathered together, guys, you did your job, you did it well.
You spend a lot of time away from home, all over the world, a lot of difficult situations. I know you have, like all of us that's ever wore the uniform, you have to have somebody supporting you to do that. How did Miss Barbara's support over those years, how did that help you be successful and do all the things you did?
Barbara has been so supportive of me, and she's probably one of the greatest women I've ever met. She's been capable of doing so much. We've raised 6 kids, and I think we've done a good job. We have 12 grandchildren. We have 25, almost 26 great-grandchildren. And I think I've always said that you can do more to teach somebody something by how you act than by what you tell them to do.
Right.
If you set the example, they'll follow that example if they respect you. And you get their respect by being a good person to them.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what the junior ROTC program was, the same thing. They emulated their leaders. And that's why I think they were able to do as well as they did. And I've got former cadets, I taught 14 years of junior ROTC. And I've got officers and so on all over the Army, Air Force, Navy that I still keep in touch with.
Colonel Harding, sir, I just want to thank you for your time today. Some of these stories, I think are going to affect people for the rest of their lives, people that get that hadn't heard your story, hadn't heard all the things and what made you do what you did, and the kind of life you've lived and the example you've set for all of us to follow, really. Sir, I just want to say thank you for your service. You're a real patriot. I've enjoyed this immensely. I knew of you for a long time now. Your story is fascinating. I'm glad I got to be a part of sitting down today with you and having that discussion, and wish you nothing but blue skies as we go forward here.